We all know that mornings matter, but what does it actually take to win them? Imagine you wake up tomorrow, but this time, you don't reach for your phone, you don't check your emails, and you don't scroll through social media. Instead, you do something radically different. You give yourself a moment of clarity. I'll be honest, I'm not one of those people who jumps out of bed at 4 a.m. ready to conquer the world. I don't do cold plunges, and I'm not working out before sunrise. In fact, there were many mornings when I was running on fumes, struggling to keep everything together. The truth is, I often stay up late working on important projects, pushing myself to meet deadlines and solve massive challenges. But here's what I learned: it's not about how early you wake up, it's about how you use the first moments of your day. The most important part of my morning routine starts before I even open my eyes. The first 15 minutes of my day aren't spent checking my phone or reading the latest headlines. No, I start with a powerful question. I ask myself, what am I solving today that matters? That question shifts my brain from the reactive mode, where we all scramble through our emails and news updates, into a proactive mode, where I can take control of the day, rather than letting it control me. It takes just a few minutes of peace, no distractions, and the commitment to focus on what truly matters. Why does this matter? Because the first 15 minutes of your morning set the tone for the rest of your day. It doesn't matter if you wake up feeling tired or overwhelmed. What matters is the mental clarity you create. Once you ask yourself this simple question, your brain begins to activate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles decision-making and focus. Let's dive deeper into the real challenge most people face in the morning: reacting before you've even started. This is a mistake I used to make all the time. It's so tempting, isn't it? You wake up and immediately grab your phone. You check your emails, scroll through social media, maybe even dive into the latest headlines. It feels like a natural part of the morning routine, but it's exactly what you need to stop doing. Here's why: when you react first, you don't get to create. You're no longer leading your day, you're just surviving it. The problem is, reacting sets you on the defensive. It's like inviting 50 strangers into your house before you've even had your first cup of coffee. They're all pulling your attention in different directions, and before you know it, your day is hijacked. I made this mistake for years. I'd wake up and dive straight into work. Emails, text messages, urgent requests from the team, all pulling me in different directions. I felt overwhelmed before the day even began, and that feeling lingered all day long. But then, I changed my approach. I decided to delay looking at my phone for at least the first 30 minutes of my morning. This wasn't easy at first, especially with the constant pull of work and responsibilities. But the results were profound. Instead of reacting, I was able to think, reflect, and focus. I found that by giving myself that buffer, I had more energy and clarity throughout the day. Here's a takeaway for you: try this for just 3 days. For the first 30 minutes of your morning, avoid any outside input: no emails, no social media, no news. Just you, your thoughts, and a quiet space. What you'll find is that you feel more in control and less stressed. The key is that you're not letting the world dictate your energy, you're setting the tone. Now that we've set the mental stage for a productive day, let's talk about movement. It's easy to think that if you're not doing a full-on workout at 5 a.m., you're not really starting the day right. But here's the thing: movement doesn't need to be intense to be effective. I'm not running marathons or hitting the gym before breakfast, far from it. But I still move. The first thing I do after waking up is drink a full glass of water. Your brain is dehydrated after hours of sleep, and dehydration can reduce focus by up to 30%. So before anything else, I hydrate. This simple action sends a message to your body: today, I'm leading, not just surviving. Then, I do something very basic: 10 push-ups, a short stretch, or sometimes just a walk around the house. It's not about breaking records, it's about sending a signal to your body that you're awake and ready to take on the world. You don't need a gym, you just need movement. If you're in your 50s or 60s, and you think you're too old for this, let me tell you, don't compare yourself to others. Movement can look different for everyone. Even just rolling your shoulders or doing a breathing exercise counts. It's not about intensity, it's about getting your blood flowing and telling your body, I'm ready for today. Here's the lesson: don't let age or expectations hold you back. Move in a way that works for you, even if it's simple. It might seem small, but it has a huge impact on how you feel and think for the rest of the day. Now that your body is awake and you've got your mind in a positive space, it's time to take action. But not just any action, it's time to focus on the one thing that truly matters today. In this part of my morning, I focus on what I call a needle-moving task. This task is the one that has the most significant impact on my goals. It's not the one that's urgent, but it's the one that, when completed, will drive real progress. This step is about first principles thinking. In simple terms, you focus on what matters most, not what feels the most urgent. For me, it could be reviewing a new Tesla prototype, finalizing a design for a SpaceX rocket, or making a critical decision at Neuralink. But for you, it could be something like writing that first chapter of your book, making that phone call you've been putting off, or finishing a proposal that could change the course of your career. The key is not to let distractions take over. I block out that most important task for the first part of my day. No meetings. No calls. Just me and the task at hand. This is the focus block of my morning. Even if you work a 9 to 5 job or have a packed schedule, you can find 15 minutes of undistracted time to work on what matters most. It doesn't matter how busy you are, by controlling that first block of time, you set the stage for success. The takeaway? Prioritize the highest impact task in your morning. Don't let the small stuff, emails, meetings, notifications, steal that focus. If you start your day by making the most significant progress possible, everything else will seem easier. No matter how organized or motivated you are, there's always that voice, that little whisper in your head that says, "I don't feel like it today." It's the resistance. It's natural. And trust me, even I face it. I've been in positions where everything felt too heavy. The pressure from managing companies, launching rockets, and constantly being on the move can weigh you down. But here's what I've learned: resistance isn't a sign to quit, it's a sign to start small. When I don't feel like moving or doing something important, I remind myself that the key isn't in waiting to feel ready, it's in taking the smallest possible step. That tiny action is enough to push through the mental block. For example, instead of planning to run a full workout, I tell myself, just do one push-up. Instead of planning a full day of work, I say, just start the email, or just write one paragraph. This method isn't about achieving the end goal right away. It's about getting the ball rolling. Once you take that first small action, the resistance fades, and momentum takes over. You see, small steps lead to big results. This is how I keep my mind in motion, even on days when it feels like nothing is working. And it's the same for you. Start small. Make the first move. Once you do, the rest will follow. By now, you've learned how to start your mornings with intention, clarity, and focus. You've tackled resistance and taken that first small step. But here's where the magic happens: you must keep showing up. The secret to building a routine that works for you isn't in the grand gestures. It's in the small, consistent actions that you repeat every single day. In the early days of building Tesla, SpaceX, and all the companies I've worked on, there were days when I wanted to quit. It felt like too much. But I didn't. I kept showing up, even when I didn't feel like it. Building a morning routine is no different. It's about trusting yourself to keep showing up even when motivation is low. Every time you win your morning, you reinforce a habit that moves you closer to your goals. The more you do it, the more it becomes second nature. Your mind and body start to expect that you will take action first thing every day. This is how you build momentum. And here's the key: trust yourself. The only way to build trust with yourself is through consistency. By showing up every morning, you prove to yourself that you can accomplish what you set out to do, no matter how big or small. The reality is, we all have the same 24 hours. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to this simple truth: the more consistent you are, the more you'll win in the long run.